The Allstate AFCA Good Works team has been one of the most esteemed honors in college football for more than 25 years. The student athletes who are nominated for this award demonstrate a unique dedication to community service and desire to make a positive impact on the world around them. The Good Works team is comprised of 11 players from the FBS and 11 players from the FCS, Division II, Division III, and the NAIA, as well as one honorary head coach. To be in consideration by Allstate and the AFCA for a nomination, each player must be actively involved with a charitable organization or service group while maintaining a strong academic standing. Past Good Works team members include notable players such as Peyton and Eli Manning and Tim Tebow. Coaches, do you have a player that you think embodies the values of the Good Works team? Be sure to connect with your SID to discuss potential nominees. To nominate a player or head coach, have your SID email vince@afca.com by May 21st of this year, 2021.
This is Todd Berry, Executive Director of the American Football Coaches Association, and I'm really excited about doing this interview with two individuals. One who gets one of our awards, and I think it's one of the more prestigious awards that we have because of it talks to the interaction between a coach and his community. And then also with Dan Keats from Allstate, who Dan has been a part of this program forever. We started with the coaches being a part of this group about 5 years ago, but Dan works with Allstate, former college football player. And so I'd like to welcome Dan Keats from Allstate and Neal Brown, our 2020 AFCA Good Works head coach. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Dan, I want to start with you here real quickly. Well, first, let me congratulate Neal because I do, again, believe this is one of our more prestigious awards. So, Neal, I want to congratulate you on this because I do think if you look at our past winners of this award, they're not just significant coaches, they're significant men. So congratulations.
Thank you. I agree, Todd. This is probably the most prestigious award that I've been fortunate enough to win. And the reason, been on championship teams and Coach of the Year awards and those type of things, but be recognized for something off the field, really a humbling experience and very appreciative.
Well, Dan, let's turn to you because, again, you've been a part of this program for a significant amount of time. We've been dealing with each other for the last 5 years in my role. And I know how much you love football, but I know what an important part of what the Good Works team means to Allstate, because you shared some of these thoughts with me. And I'd just like for you to kind of expand on not just what it means for Allstate, but really kind of, if you don't mind, even going through the process of what you're looking for, because I'd like for more of our coaches to look at this and really attempt to try to be that head coach. So Dan, if you could explain what this means to Allstate and what the process is.
Well, it's a tremendous award that Allstate's involved with. I mean, first and foremost, we greatly value our partnership and association with the American Football Coaches Association, first and foremost, because without that, we wouldn't be able to have this established platform and this award. From an Allstate standpoint, our 10,000 agents, all of our employees across the country and in Canada, we're all about, like our motto says, right? Putting people, putting communities, putting lives in good hands. And it's not just a motto. It's also something that everyone from our chairman down to all the employees and agents, we walk that walk every day. We're all about giving back. We're all about servitude. We're all about helping others. And that's really what has distinguished Allstate as a company, as a brand, as an institution from everybody else in our category. And we take a lot of pride in that. We've been a huge supporter of college football for a number of years. This is just, has become such an important part of that, along with our Nets program, the Allstate Sugar Bowl, the soon to be next year, the Allstate Kickoff Classic, new to our portfolio, our 94 plus school relationships, the American Football Coaches Association, Allstate AFCA Good Works Team Award is a tremendous source of pride. It's also a tremendous value because we get a ton of earned media and great stories about the kids and coaches like yourselves who go above and beyond. So from all of us at Allstate, Coach Brown, I congratulate you for being an example of servant leadership, of going above and beyond, of putting your players and your community in good hands. That's what this award really is. I mean, as Coach Barry said, I mean, I was a college football player. I found it hard enough just to study and go to class. And then, well, I didn't find it hard to find food, obviously, as you can tell. But studying, eating, sleeping, going to practice, training room, et cetera. And then on top of that, you think about the types of people who get this award. There's a lot of people that are involved in community service, which is fantastic in and of itself. We have hundreds of nominations every year. But to really make the actual 22 players from across the divisions, one head coach, honorary head coach, and you have to really go above and beyond and separate yourself. So all the things, I mean, that to go through as a coach and managing your program and recruiting, et cetera, administrative stuff, to then all of that and your family to go beyond that, to give back. You and all the players on this team every year, it's such a source of inspiration to our entire enterprise, to all of the communities, because the time commitment and the effort to go do it. These are people who aren't just, I did some community service and checked the box. These are people who are doing, establishing foundations, leading huge initiatives in their communities, and the time and the effort to do that from an off-field standpoint is unbelievable. And so it is, I say it every year, and Coach Barry knows this, we are humbled, we are inspired, we are honored to be a part of this, because it is a true demonstrative platform of what our stands for, and just in awe of everything you guys do, and especially you, Coach Brown, as a leader, as a molder, as a shaper of men, as a shaper of future leaders in our country and our communities. From everyone at Allstate, thank you very much.
Yeah, Dan, I appreciate the kind words, and really appreciate what Allstate does, not only with the Good Works team, but just as a proponent for college football and what it can mean to universities and states and all the above. This is really a humbling award. I think it's an award that I look at it as a program award, and not only an award here at West Virginia, but I think I go back to the head coach at Troy too. And so I look at this as kind of a cumulative award of a lot of players and a lot of staff buying in to our mission. And our mission, both at Troy and at West Virginia, is to serve and develop. And so as the leader of both of those organizations, I think the number one leadership principle is people do what people see. And so if we're going to talk about serving and developing, myself and my family we need to set the standard for that. And then our coaches and our administrative people need to do that as well. And we see ourselves as a developmental program, and we are fortunate enough to get student athletes that are at the end of boyhood and transition into manhood. And I think the best type of leaders are those that serve, and that's what we want to develop in our program. And we really feel like if we pour into the person and we try to develop the entire person, better people make better football players. And so if we do that and we are developing, we're going to have better football teams. And so that's our mindset on it. I think another person that I've got to mention with this is, you talked about it being a program award both at Troy and at West Virginia, but this is also a family award. My wife, Brooke, she makes all our decisions with our foundation. She's very, very active. A lot of things we're doing within our programs, both at Troy and West Virginia, stems from some of her ideas. And so, but I'm really, really humbled with this, and I look at it as kind of a program and a family honor. And again, I want to thank Allstate for all that you've done.
Dan, I want to follow up here real quickly, because you mentioned something, and then this will lead into a question that I have for Neal. You played football. I mean, you understand kind of what this is all about. And could you kind of talk to the impact that your coaches had on you in terms of your development as an individual?
Well, and I think Coach Brown said you basically had me as, it's really that transformation, right? That metamorphosis from boy to man. And a lot of times it happens to different people and maturity levels, but I'm not the man I am today, not the person I am today without my college football coaches, without my college football program, the discipline, the drive it gave me. Everybody talks about setting goals. I had to learn how to actually set a goal, how to actually take pride in yourself. The things you do away from the field are that much more important as what you do on the field, how you conduct yourself on campus, the types of things you do to keep your health where it needs to be. None of those things I really had figured out. And, I was very lost as a large child, and that got channeled into, a pretty strong individual who was tearing up the weight room and tearing up the field until an unfortunate injury happened. And, I wouldn't be the person I am without my college football coaches. And so I understand the value of coaching. I know how important it is. I know how great the game of football is. But it's only great because there's great men like both of you who are helping to mold, tomorrow's leaders and helping to mold boys into men. That's really what it's about. And learning accountability, learning pride, those are things that go beyond football. Those are things that you do every day, whether you're going to a meeting and talking about marketing and talking about, why we need to do the things we do. All of the things you learn in terms of preparation, pride, accountability. I learned that through playing college football. Setting goals, all the things that organizations like Allstate have every year. How do you live into it? How do you walk the walk? That's what football teaches you. That's what I learned from college football. And so for me to be in this position and being able to honor folks, like you, Coach Brown, and be a part of the association, it's just a full circle, experience for me every day in terms of, what it means. Again, part of giving back, part of being on the pay it forward, wagon of, how do we look out for what's coming next in the next generation? We see these kids every year. I see them at Sugar. Obviously this year was different, but, I try to stay in touch with as many of them as I can. Division III, whether they get NFL contracts or, one of the guys I'm closest to, he's working for a nonprofit in California, helping, for fresh water preservation. Like those are the things that, we still have that bond, and it's about football because I think there's intangible things that you get from football, and especially college football, that you take with you wherever you go once you get outside that program. So it's just a thing that I lean on every day, my experiences, and I know that I'm not where I am without it. Bottom line.
As you kind of mentioned, all of us that I think that that are coaches right now, it's not just that we love the game. It was because we were impacted so dramatically by our own coaches in relation to that metamorphosis that you talked about during that time frame. And we're wanting our players to have some of those same experiences. And Dan, I know just having been down at the Sugar Bowl and with those young people, how inspiring that group is. And I know listening to that group, how much their coaches meant to them. And so to Neal, and you kind of touched on this, as coaches, we have an obligation, I think, not just to be good football coaches and to teach our players X's and O's and about winning. Those things are all important, but we serve as these role models. And this is a kind of what this award is. It is that role model of not just excellence on the field. It is about excellence off the field in terms of being a great role model for your players. And again, I've known you for quite some time. And obviously you're on our board of trustees. But I want you to go into a little bit more in depth. You went through some of it, but let's just talk about the impact of your coaches and why that set the impact on you to, or led you to this idea or this concept that you want to be a great role model for your players.
Well, for me, it's important for me to note my background. So I'm the son of two educators. My mom was an elementary school librarian. My dad was a high school coach that went into administration, was eventually a principal. 3 out of my 4 grandparents were teachers. My dad's father was a very successful high school football coach and then was a principal and superintendent. My dad's mother taught typing. My mom's mom was a 3rd grade teacher in the same classroom for over 40 years. And so I literally grew up in school. My mom's brother was a basketball coach. My dad was a principal. And so literally my whole growing up was spent either in a field house or a gym. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I had my memories are in seeing the impact that my dad had on young people, my uncle had on young people. I'll never forget my grandfather, who won a state championship in the state of Kentucky. When he passed away, he was in his 90s. His boys, who happened to be 75 or 80, had come back, and just to hear them tell stories about him. And so I'm a product of coaches. And my dad's friends, my high school coaches, my college coaches, who are some of my best friends now. And those are people that really showed me what the standard was in this profession. And I tell our staff here all the time, like, if we only teach technical skills, we have failed our players. And I mean that. If we're okay with just winning games and teaching technical skills, then we're really failing our players. To me, it's more than that. And this game of football and athletics in general have given me everything that I know. We had an activity the other day. We have placemats at our dining room table. So I was having breakfast with my now 10-year-old daughter, and the map of the 50 states is one of these placemats. And we were going, I think I told this at the convention, we were going through all the states, and I was telling her where I'd been, and where I hadn't been. Where almost every state that I've ever been to, and I've been to almost all of them, was because of athletics. And so I really owe everything in my life to athletics. And I think the reason I got into coaching is because I wanted to be around young people, but I also wanted to have an opportunity to give back to a game that's given me so much. Another thing I think it's important to mention is and I don't want to speak for Allstate, but I know this is Allstate is always involved in communities. And I think there's such, whether it's high school football or college football, those programs in the communities are ingrained. And here at West Virginia, it's even more unique because we represent not only a community here in Morgantown, but we represent the entire state of West Virginia, because there's no pro sports, not an NBA team, not a Major League Baseball, not an NFL team. There's no other Power 5 schools. And so we represent a whole state. And it's really important for our guys to understand who they represent. When they put the flying WV, who they represent. Well, the only way we can do that where they feel really ingrained in the community is to get them out and spend time. And that's another reason why the service element here at West Virginia is so important.
Well, gentlemen, this has been outstanding, and Coach Brown, appreciate you taking the time, but more importantly, I appreciate who you are as an individual and the fact that you're out there leading young people in our society. I think is really significant. And Dan, your continued friendship from Allstate and your support of this award for not just our coaches, but obviously for our players, and so that they're having this opportunity to be acknowledged. And especially at the status that they are acknowledged at the Sugar Bowl, and the amount of time and effort that you guys put into this, having been a part of it, is just so much appreciated. And so again, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you both for being a part of this and for sharing some thoughts with the rest of our coaches that they all might aspire to do better things with their players and their communities.
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this time here today.
The Allstate AFCA Good Works team has been one of the most esteemed honors in college football for more than 25 years. The student athletes who are nominated for this award demonstrate a unique dedication to community service and desire to make a positive impact on the world around them. The Good Works team is comprised of 11 players from the FBS and 11 players from the FCS, Division II, Division III, and the NAIA, as well as one honorary head coach. To be in consideration by Allstate and the AFCA for a nomination, each player must be actively involved with a charitable organization or service group while maintaining a strong academic standing. Past Good Works team members include notable players such as Peyton and Eli Manning and Tim Tebow. Coaches, do you have a player that you think embodies the values of the Good Works team? Be sure to connect with your SID to discuss potential nominees. To nominate a player or head coach, have your SID email vince@afca.com by May 14th of this year, 2021.